Hello everybody, I'm David Ells at Ells Squirrel Farms. Today we're getting ready to skin this little squirrel here. It's a pretty squirrel. And the reason we're going to do it, most people when they buy the kits, they get anxious and they can watch on YouTube and watch the skin squirrels and they go ahead and skin them before the instruction pamphlet gets to them. So today I'm going to skin this squirrel and show you a few little things that might help you during the process. First thing you want to do whenever you mount a squirrel is you want to measure it. I always lay them down on the table, head to the left, tail to the right. You want to measure from the tip of the nose straight along the back like this, and you want to come all the way and take your thumb, put it right up by its butt, and you can see that this squirrel is 10 inches long. So now you know what mannequin to order. It's a 10-inch mannequin. Now I skin everything with a razor knife. I'll start right here in the rectum. Cut it just a little ways that way. Come back up a little ways this way. You don't want to go all the way to the end. You don't have to. And then when I say skin, all we need is the hide off of the animal. So I don't want to sit here and do a lot of cutting. What I want to do is just open up a spot to get started. I'll take a little preservative and put it in there to keep it from being so slick. And with your thumbs and your finger, reach in and work around until you can get your finger to work all the way through. Now these are actually fish skinning shears that I bought from your local supply company, but I use them for squirrels. I'm gonna cut this bone off here. A little preservative on it, and I'm gonna work my finger around to the back side of the tail. I'm gonna come over here and get this leg out on this side. Get my finger through it. Then I'm gonna cut it. I'm just cutting the bone with the snips. Just a little bit of the preservative, that keeps it from being so slick. Now right here at the base of the butt, you need to cut these tendons on the tail, just so your tail will slide. Take your finger, wrap it around here, hold it tight, and then you can slide this tail. You got to hold it tight, you got to hold your finger up against the tail. Hold it tight, and most of the time you can pull the tail all the way out. Now sometimes your tail will break. If it does, just reach up in here, make a small incision, and pull it out. But that one didn't break, so we're in good shape. You're going to keep on going around. And like I say, this preservative is just to hold it to where it ain't so slick. Just keep working around using your thumb. I'm holding the body, taking my thumb and pushing the hide. I'm trying not to pull the hide as much right now. Roll it over when you get to the front legs. Grab it real firm, grab the body, and pull it. If you pull it, the front legs will come like this. The front legs almost be out. Take your knife, make a small incision here to loosen it up. Your snips reach through, and you can pull them with the thumb until you can get the front leg out. Then snip it. Same thing on the right, over there. Now this is kind of an important spot. I'm using my left hand to try to keep the hide tight. If you can see, my thumb is keeping the hide tight. And then I'm just coming around. I'm using my fingers on my left side of my hand to keep it tight. Come down. Now you got to be careful. There's a tendency to cut too high up here. The ear is actually back here in the back, right here. You want to cut it close to the skull so you won't have a big opening in your ear. Like I say, just trying to keep a little tension. I'm coming up toward the back of the eye. You have to be careful now, because of course this was shot. But you want to cut on the back side of the eye so you don't cut the eye opening. This is one of those spots where you need to slow down and be careful. See, it's bloody. I really can't even see what I'm doing. I just know where I'm at. Now what we're going to do is we're going to leave the eyes, and we're coming down here to his mouth. And what we want to do is we want to cut, look right up here, we want to cut back into the jowls of the squirrel, like you would call them. Back over here. And we're going to cut back in here and cut this loose. I don't know if you can see it, but I've done cut this side loose. Now we can do the other side. Be careful up on the bottom jaw. You got to get all the way up to the teeth, cut it loose. Then I'm going to take my finger, I'm sticking it up in here like this, and go ahead and finish skinning it on down. I have my finger up in here for a reason. If you look, this is bone. Follow your bone down until you hit the cartilage, as far back as you can. Once you hit the cartilage, you want to cut straight back toward the teeth. These are the teeth. You want to cut straight back this way until you hit the teeth. When you hit the teeth, just hold it tight and twist your knife, and they'll come off. Now we got to come up here, just a little bit of preservative to keep it from being so slick. We'll take the front legs. About right here on squirrel, there's a few little hairs. And if you pull them, they'll all come out. But if you be careful when you're pulling, you'll see, there they are, right here. And we're gonna make just a little small cut right here to loosen them up. And then we'll be able to come all the way out to the foot. Now you can watch and you see where it's turning. It usually turns a black color. This one didn't. It could be the color of the squirrel. But we're gonna make a little incision across here. And listen, we cut the bone right here. And we're gonna pull it on out. And then we're gonna come right up here and we're gonna snip these. That one's done. Some people like to take the toes completely out. If you want to do that, go ahead. I haven't ever done it but a couple of times, and I find it useless. That's that little hairs I'm talking about. Pull it. If you keep your hands down on the table, you have a little bit more control, and most of the time you won't mess up. These little squirrels here are a lot easier to do than large fox squirrels, but it's all the same process. Now the back leg, same thing. We're gonna take it, pull it. Sometimes on your large fox squirrels, the leg will get right here and it just won't invert. These should invert. I'm gonna try it. I don't wanna have to sew them up later. A little bit at a time. Yeah, it inverted. If it doesn't invert, you have to make a little cut And it's better to use a control cut on the bottom of the foot. It's not gonna show. After I get it inverted like this, I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna cut that toe bone and this toe bone. And then you can come on down a little bit further and get the other three. I'm coming. It's just pull, cut, pull, cut. Usually when it gets real tight, if you have to, you can take your knife and make a little incision right here. But I think we can turn this one. Yeah. Now the squirrel has been skinned, but we still need to split the lips on the squirrel. And the lips, I'll start right here. Get your finger up under here. If you cut it, you'll cut your finger. Just take your knife and work it around. The bottom lip is a little bit trickier. I know this looks fairly simple with me doing it, but believe me, I've skinned thousands of these things, and it's not quite as simple as it looks. Okay. Now the squirrel's been skinned, we have to flesh the squirrel so we can get all the meat and stuff off of it. In the kits that we sell, I suggest using scissors for cutting it all off. You have a lot more control doing it that way. But here at the shop, a lot of people have been watching me with my board. This board's what? About 2 inches wide. It's kind of rounded at the top. And what we're gonna do is we take the squirrel and slide it down on here. And we use a table knife of Mama's. And it's dull, it's not sharp. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna force that fat and stuff off of this squirrel. Now, when you're doing this, you will tear a squirrel completely up, so be careful and don't let the hide do this on the board. You want the hide to stay still. You'll pull it down. I like to start right up under the chin here, and with some force. And you don't want to try to go all the way down, just about maybe 3 inches. I'm loosening the squirrel up on the board. I'm going to turn it. I'm going to come right up under the ear and do the same thing. I'll pick it up, turn it. Now I'm on the back of the squirrel. Your bigger squirrels are going to be harder to do, but it's the same process. Now I'm back to the other ear. Now slide it up. And what you'll see what I'm doing, I'm not trying to do the whole squirrel. I'm going around and around. And every time I move the squirrel, I pick it up. Might not show up, but I just pick it up just enough to keep the pressure off the hide. It's easier once you get down here on the back and the belly. This is a male squirrel, so you have to be a little careful down here. Once you get it down like this, if you keep going, you'll start pulling hair out of the squirrels from where you cut it. So just stop, take your hand and reach up and grab this meat, and just, when you're pulling it, fold your hand down like this and it'll pull the rest of it off. All right, now the majority of it's done, fleshed. We're going to take our scissors, little scissors, and we're going to come up here to the back feet, and we're going to cut the tendons. If one of the bones happens to be a little long, you can trim it off too, like that. Do that foot. You'll come over here and do this one. Then it's a search and destroy from here over. We're going to come in here, trim this up. That's bad. That's a no-no. That's a hole. Shouldn't do that. Now you got to go back and sew it. All right, that's pretty good around here. Come up, we're going to do the front legs. Now we're going to come up to the head. I know when I first got started, it's confusing, but I do the same thing over and over. That way you won't be jumping around doing different areas. I'm going to stick my finger is right up under this ear. I'm going to come around, get the meat off of it. I'm going to come up sideways and come right up behind the eye. Then I'm going to come right over the top of this eye. Now, instead of trying to do the bottom side of the eye, I'm going to come over and do this ear. Same thing, I'm going to go up from this ear to the back of this eye. Now I'm on the bottom side of this eye. All right, once I get through it, I'm just going to take the squirrel and turn it around, and I'm going to do the top on this eye. When I get through it, I'm just slide my squirrel over to my finger. I'm going to do the bottom side over here. And once you get through with that, we're going to come over. I usually start on the bottom cheek. Coming up to up under the nose. Now this is where the whisker roots are. And you don't want to cut them real close. If you do, the whiskers will end up falling out. So I'd rather leave a little bit of meat in there. It's not enough to talk about. You can see I have it pretty clean. I mean, it could be cleaner. I'll come now. Coming right up under. this is one of those places where you've got to slow down. Even, I don't care how many you've done, because right on the bottom chin of these squirrels is a little tough spot. And if you're not careful, you'll cut a hole in it. All right, once you get through with it, we're gonna come right on up and do the other cheek. And my finger's right up under the skin. That way I know how deep I'm cutting. All right, once you do that, then we'll come back. We'll come back from the nose, right down the back of the head. And anything we didn't get off between the eyes, we're just gonna cut it off. Look around one more time. See a couple little spots. All right, now that it's done, we're gonna come back, clean it up a little bit, and we're just gonna walk down the whole squirrel and see any little thing we might have missed. For some reason or other, you're gonna miss a spot here or there. All right, that's done. Now we're gonna sew up the holes. I done got my thread ready and my needles. This was a good squirrel to use. It wasn't tore up. It has been shot with a .22 rifle though in the head or a pellet gun. We'll talk so much, yeah. Mess up the YouTube video. All right, now it has been shot. This is where the hole went in. That wasn't a .22 rifle. It must be a pellet gun or something. I'm gonna have to put one stitch here on this side. One here too. I got it. Now this squirrel here is ready for the mounting process. Tomorrow they're going to be mounting one, and they'll show you how we wash it and stuff. But the way we do it here at the shop, we just turn it right side out like this. Nothing fancy. Just stick the legs in and just wrap it up, and we stick it in a bag just like this. And whenever we go to mount the squirrel, we'll take it out of the bag, just like this, and go straight into the sink, let it thaw out, and we'll wash it real good and dry it good, and then we'll go with the measurements we have in the position we need to mount the squirrel in, and we'll mount it. I sure hope this helped y'all a little bit. Don't think you're gonna be as fast as I am. It takes a little while before you can get in a rhythm and knowing how to skin a squirrel. And this was the easy squirrel even for me. Tomorrow, hopefully, they're going to be mounting a squirrel, fox squirrel, and it's going to be a little bit more trouble in the skinning and mounting process. But take your time and enjoy it, especially when you're mounting on our kits. The kits were designed to be real simple, so you can get the basics down so you'll be able to mount a squirrel. Good luck, and if you have any trouble, just give us a call and we'll try to help as much as we can.